we are live. What is going on? Weekly dose of weird family. We had to take a break these last 2 weekends. We had some work obligations that we had to catch up with, but I'm back. It's your boy L in the house tonight, and what we're going to be talking about in this episode is Mokele-Mbembe, also known as the dinosaur of the Congo. This is a very, very famous subject. I'm pretty sure that you're aware of. I would consider it along the lines with the Loch Ness monster and any other dinosaurs that we can think about that have come out in this current age that we can that we kind of have footage to go over. And so this first topic, or not the topic, the first video that we're going to get into here is Mokele-Mbembe, the living dinosaur. So let's just jump right into it. This is Weekly Dose of Weird, and this week, Mokele-Mbembe, we're talking about it. All right, so the title for this video is Mokele-Mbembe, the living dinosaur, and it's about a 9-minute, 23-second clip, and we're going to go through it together. We're going to see what we can pull from this. So let's just hop right into it. Weekly Dose of Weird. Let's do it.
Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth.
And right quick before we get into it, I know the word or the term myth gets thrown around a lot, so but to me personally, here at Weekly Dose of Weird, I don't really consider it myth. I kind of consider it factual. So let's go ahead and go over this.
Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed.
And shout out to Mythology Unleashed. This is a well put together video.
Africa is home to some of the largest animals on Earth, such as the elephant, the rhino, and the hippo. And yet, it is said that there is a cryptid lurking in the Congo Basin that dwarfs even these giants of nature. One that should have gone extinct millions of years ago. A survivor of the dinosaur age, evolved to live in the new climate and inhabit the dense jungles of the modern age.
Yeah, Chad, that kind of happens sometimes. I don't know what the pills have been doing lately, but yeah, that happens sometimes.
Creature is known as Mokele-Mbembe. Mokele-Mbembe, whose name translates to one who blocks the flow of rivers in the Lingala language, is described as looking nearly identical to a sauropod, a long-necked dinosaur such as Apatosaurus.
Now, this is something that a lot of people would transcribe to this as it being an apatosaur or some type of brontosaurus that's going on in the Congo over there. Because we're going to go over some footage later on that has eyewitnesses, the people that actually live there and have to deal with this on a daily basis. But most people refer to it as a dinosaur, mainly a brontosaurus or apatosaurus. So let's just jump back into this.
Diplodocus, that were once common during the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods, complete with a massive body, 4 legs like tree trunks, a long tapering tail, and an extremely long neck ending with a relatively small head. Some other more outlandish descriptions give the creature additional features such as spinal ridges, a club tail or spike tail like an ankylosaur, dorsal plates like a stegosaurus, even a small frill with horns similar to a triceratops. Mokele-Mbembe is said to live in the deep waters of the Congo, in one of the many underwater caverns carved out by the river's currents, emerging after dark to dine on the lush vegetation of the rainforest.
That's an interesting one. I haven't seen a portrayal of a dinosaur with this type of snout. That's pretty interesting. I haven't seen that one.
Reshaping the jungle floor and riverbed with its massive bulk. The beast is said to generally keep to itself, but it may defend itself violently if it is being hunted, or if its home is being threatened. Many local tales of the reptile feature it feasting on leaves from the highest trees, overturning canoes in the river, and even attacking hippos that wander into its territory. A fascinating tale for sure, but just how did the legend of Mokele-Mbembe begin? And how did its legend spread beyond the isolated peoples of the inner Congo? In 1776, long before the term dinosaur was...
Now, before we go any further with this video, because I know when I talk about this amongst my peers and other people that we conversate with, they'll say, well, if there's a dinosaur in the Congo, how come we haven't found it yet? So let me back out right quick and let me pull up Google Maps. And maybe this will give you a further understanding of why we haven't found anything or seen anything of this nature. So this is the Republic of Congo. And from my understanding, the sightings have taken place right about here. And if you look, this is all just vast jungle. Vast jungle. And if we zoom in, this right here is a site where it's been said that these sightings have been taking place. And this big green area is just lush, dense forest. That's really, really hard to get to. And I believe this is an actual photo. So we have photos here of the lake. And that just looks crazy. Look at all this you got to get through. That's a lot. And this one circular. So to me, this kind of looks like probably a crater, a meteor crater. And over time, it just got filled and became the lake that it is today. But man, let's look at some smaller photos. And this is just to give you reference of, if you have a doubt in your mind of, which is fair. We know we all have doubts. And sometimes those doubts help us to find the truth. And these are just some photos. But you can kind of see this very prehistoric setting. Some more photos of some dense brush. Yeah, so I mean, it looks ancient just by going through these photos. But let's get back to this video. So now we have kind of a reference of what we're dealing with, the scale of what the Congo actually brings to us. So let's jump back in this. That's enough of me talking about that. Let's listen in.
Is even coined. Abbot Levain Bonaventure Proyart chronicles
Yeah, that water does look
history
really good.
of Loango Kakonga and other kingdoms in Africa, a story of French missionaries stumbling upon tracks left by unknown animals of immense proportions deep within the jungle, marked by enormous claw marks, measuring nearly 3 feet in circumference, far bigger than an elephant's, or any living creatures for that matter.
That's pretty big. Track
The
size.
mystery surrounding these footprints began to clear little by little in 1913, when the German government initiated a survey of its colony in Cameroon, the Likwala Congo expedition, led by Captain Ludwig Freyr von Stein-Zulausnitz, who would go on to contribute a crucial report to the annals of cryptozoology and the expansion of the Mokele-Mbembe legend. In his reports, von Stein described a creature deeply feared by the inhabitants of various regions encompassing the territories of the Congo, the lower Ubangi, the Sanga, and Ikalemba rivers, a creature that the locals referred to as Mokele-Mbembe. According to reports of sightings compiled by von Stein, the creature boasted a brownish-gray color reminiscent of its surroundings, and comparable in size to an elephant, perhaps even bigger. He further described it as a massive creature with smooth skin, a long flexible neck, a small head, and only one tooth. These reports, coupled with the popularity of dinosaurs and paleontology at the time, introduced Mokele-Mbembe to the Western world. The idea of a dinosaur, or a small race of dinosaurs, or even an undiscovered species of giant reptile living in the uncharted jungles of the Congo sounds too good to be true. But to prove the legends to be fact would be a landmark in various fields of science. Throughout the 20th century, numerous expeditions into the region to search for Mokele-Mbembe were conducted, with plenty of folktales, blurred photographs, and purported evidence of the creature to be shared, but no concrete evidence of anything resembling a sauropod, or even a reptile larger than a crocodile. But perhaps the most famous, or at least most publicized, expeditions for Mokele-Mbembe were undertaken by Roy Mackal. Mackal was a biologist at the University of Chicago with a passion for cryptozoology, pursuing the subject with Herculean effort, believing that finding positive results would be difficult, even unlikely, but that the risk was worth taking in the name of science. In the late 1970s, Mackal developed a particular interest in Mokele-Mbembe after meeting independent explorer James Powell Jr., who had studied crocodiles in Gabon and heard stories of a giant river monster in the area. The two expeditions in 1980 and 1981 respectively yielded little results aside from mysterious footprints and more local folklore, with the expeditions hampered by limited visas, general lack of preparedness, and the intense landscape of Mother Nature. In 1987, Mackal wrote and published a fairly romanticized chronicle of the expeditions called A Living Dinosaur in Search of Mokele-Mbembe, and would later receive a significant amount of criticism for the expedition's execution and for his beliefs.
And right quick, that's one of the things that they kind of bothers me a little bit, that some scientists look down on scientists who take up these challenges when it comes to mythology and cryptozoology, Bigfoot, all the other ones, for example. But I believe, in my heart, I believe that these are some of the things that we need to actually further research, put a little more research behind. Let's just not get to the point where it's like, oh, this dude's nuts, he's loony, it's a waste of money, because it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 with everything. And I believe that we should take this just a little more seriously, put a little more money behind it. And I'm gonna get to another topic a little more toward the end, because if we're talking about dinosaurs, there was an incident in India where there was a temple, and this temple is thousands of years old, and they have a carving of a stegosaurus on this temple, and this carving is accurate to something you'd see in a Jurassic Park movie or just any image of a stegosaurus. It is very accurate, and I will show that at the end. Don't worry, I got you. But let's finish this off. We're 7:02 in. We got a couple more minutes.
Other scientific ventures into the Congo for the beast have likewise not turned up any indisputable evidence. The likelihood of a sauropod, let alone a herd of them, surviving the great cataclysm of the dinosaurs until the modern age is highly unlikely, and an animal that size would likely not remain hidden for so long. Explanations for Mokele-Mbembe have ranged from mistranslations to outsiders taking a conceptual creature literally, to misidentification of a real animal, perhaps a large crocodile, or even a black rhino, which was once common in the area. Nevertheless, alleged Mokele-Mbembe sightings continue to be reported by locals and outside adventurers exploring regions of Central Africa, always igniting imaginative stories and scientific debate. As with all cryptids from across the world, Mokele-Mbembe's legend has excited countless people for generations. The idea of a mysterious creature, larger than Africa's common megafauna, living in a dense and largely unexplored region that could be a new species of reptile or a survivor of the bygone era of the dinosaurs, sounds like something out of a science fiction story. From numerous eyewitness reports from locals, to many fruitless expeditions from outside explorers and scientists, Mokele-Mbembe is a creature who many have feared, but also many have wished to encounter in person. Is there really a dinosaur or a group of dinosaurs living in the jungles and water systems of Central Africa? Science says no, but it is nevertheless an idea that stirs the imagination.
Science may say no, but here at Weekly Dose, we say yes. We say yes. And I mean, just kind of think about it. What do you think would happen if there was a confirmed release, confirmed report that yes, we have found dinosaurs? Do you understand what that would do to the scientific narrative of what we believe as far as the Cretaceous, the Jurassic, all these periods that are stretching back millions of years to when we believe that dinosaurs existed, as opposed to us finding new evidence today that shows that no, that they are alive in these small sections, these small pockets of the world. I mean, because if there's a dinosaur in the Congo, there's a dinosaur in the Amazon, and all these other high density areas that are hard to get to. You know, it's just a thought. It would flip the world upside down because there are stories in history where man did walk with dinosaurs. So, I mean, that's just something interesting to think about. But there is another story that we're going to get to, and it's a guy you probably heard of. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast. His name is David Cho. And I'm going to try to get this as accurate as possible. Weekly Dose of Weird. David Cho bounced around a lot in his early years, and he got the idea one day as he's maybe 18, 19, I'm not sure, that he wanted to go looking for this dinosaur in the Congo. And kudos to him because he actually went and did it. He went through some dangerous outlets to get to the Congo, but nonetheless, he got there and he did hook up with the tribe to go searching for this dinosaur. So I'm going to pull up some footage. And please excuse the language. This is a Joe Rogan podcast, and their language is a little choicy. But we're going to go ahead and listen to what David had to say because David was there. He saw some things. He met with some people. He had a wild time. He experienced some stuff, but he was there looking for that dinosaur. So let's check it out.
Wow.
So, look at my Tivas.
That's amazing. That picture's amazing.
So I
Now, had any of these people seen it? Did you ever describe it to them?
oh yeah, so I draw the dinosaur. I go, here's the dinosaur.
And what were they saying?
They go, oh yeah. There's never like no. It's always like, okay, there's a dinosaur. and
And you got to believe these people. It's in their backyard. Like I said earlier, this is something they deal with on a daily basis. They have to go out into the Congo, into the jungles to get their food. This is their livelihood. So they're going to have to come across these things. So I totally believe them. I fully believe them.
they go, let's go. And they go, it's through wetlands like this. There's gonna be leeches. Like there's a disease called bilharzia where there's like snails under like still moving waters, and the second a mammal steps in the water, little fucking parasites shoot off the snail like heat-seeking missiles, and they go in your dick hole, and then you
That's
piss and
brutal.
shit blood till you die. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's brutal.
okay, I'm done. Like I tap out. Like, so they're explaining like all the trek and the way to go find this dinosaur, and I'm like, I went up into the leeches, and then
Yeah, Chad, I wonder what the exchange rate on the pit bull for raptor trade-in would be. And also, I mean, I live in Hiram Clark. It's a neighborhood in Houston, and we got big problems with stray dogs. So I can imagine if somebody's raptor got loose. That'd be interesting, though. That'd be extremely interesting.
when I came out with the leeches, I go, all right, like this is it, I go, can you help us get out of the jungle? And they're like, it took less than a day. That's how close we were to like,
Really?
yeah, we were probably fucking walking in circles. So we get out in less than a day. I get back home. I'm 19 years old. I start writing for Vice. I start drawing pictures for them. I do comics. I'm writing, and I was writing for a magazine called Giant Robot. And Gavin and Shane would read that magazine. And they're like, they were ahead of the curve, right? Like when all print magazine, right, existed, they were like, we need to go to digital. Like they were, Vice has always been free. Everyone fiends it. They go to those magazine shops or wherever, and and they're like, we need to have online presence. The internet was brand new, and they said, you guys want some honey? I'm like, motherfucker, you don't even know. You don't even know what.
So he gets to talking a little bit about how the actual journey went down. And so I'll just save you the time. No, they did not find a dinosaur. He did not find a dinosaur. But it was mainly due to him backing out once he got to the area with the leeches. So he traveled with them. They got to where they needed to get to. But to get to that last stage of the journey, they needed to cross this wetland with leeches. And that's when he said, I've had enough. I'm out. To me personally, man, if you're there, you gotta trek through it. But I can sit here all day behind this computer and tell you got to do this, you got to do that. But when you're there, that's totally different. So we got some footage that we're gonna check out. This is from Brendan Caulfield. And it's Mokele-Mbembe 92 footage. So let's run that right quick. Let's see what we got, Brendan.
Some scientists take the Bayaka story very seriously. In 1992, a Japanese expedition traveled to remote Lac Tele, in the heart of the Congo forest.
That is just a wicked shot.
In the heart of the Congo Lac Tele.
I'm sorry,
these
that
expeditions-
is a wicked shot. If there were ever a place, if I'm on a plane and someone said we're going to this area where there's dinosaurs that have been seen, and if I'm pulling up on this plane and I see this lake in this circular form just in the middle of all this jungle, before I even get there, I am in full belief that there's something in this lake. That is a wicked shot.
Traveled to remote Lac Tele, in the heart of the Congo forest. They were looking for a dinosaur, a long-lost leftover from the Cretaceous period. They even claimed to have seen and shot footage of a plesiosaur-like creature swimming in the waters of the lake. Mokele-Mbembe.
Now, I have heard somebody debunk this footage, if I'm not mistaken. They said it was an elephant. I don't know how deep the water is right there. The image did kind of seem like it was close to the shore a little bit. So I can't really say for certain if that is a dinosaur or if it's an elephant. That's just one of those things, man. But like I had said earlier, let me pull up this image for y'all of this stegosaurus that is shown on the side of a temple in India. Just bear with me right quick. This is what I am talking about. So this is a relief on the side of a temple, and this is highly reminiscent of a stegosaurus. You have the plates that are on the back. You have this dinosaur shape, this classic shape. Let's see if we can find a little better photo. But yeah, there it is, man, in all its full glory. I mean, I haven't seen anything else that looks like this, except from in movies or in books about dinosaurs. And if we look here at an image of a stegosaurus, it's pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. So what is this doing in Cambodia? I'm sorry, Cambodia, not India. In Cambodia. And I mean, like I said, the temple is maybe 1,000, 2,000 years old. And then also there were tracks that were found of dinosaurs right next to humans. And that was in Texas, right here in my backyard. Oh yeah. So we got it right here. So these were a lot of human footprints that were going through. And right next to it, man, they got dinosaur tracks walking right along each other. Something worth looking into. And it just further fuels the fire of, the age of dinosaurs compared to the age of men. Did we, at one point in time, actually coincide and live together? That's the argument that we're going to make here. Especially talking about Mokele-Mbembe, it's just something. I mean, we're looking at photos here of Mokele-Mbembe, classic photos. One day here in the future, one day soon, I really hope that we get some type of footage, just something, just send a team, pay the money. And that's also another question in itself. Why haven't we sent anybody seriously to check this out? Why is it always independent adventurers, people like David Cho that take the time to go out there, put their life on the line to go out there? How come nobody with real National Geographic? How come we haven't had a team to go out there? What's the excuses? Let's look at the excuses. It's too thick, too much money, too much resources. You're away from contact. There are a lot of poisonous spiders, and I wish I had more time to really go in about the Congo. Because things are abnormally large in the Congo. If we have a spider here about the size of my hand, in the Congo it'd probably be 2 times bigger, 3 times bigger, 4 times bigger. Why is that? I know they're away from human civilizations and settlements, but things are just abnormally larger. Even in the Amazon, things are just abnormally larger. They just get a lot bigger. And that's just one of those things, Weekly Dose of Weird. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Mokele-Mbembe. I really hope y'all enjoy it. Thank you, everybody on Twitch with the stream. I really appreciate the compliments and comments. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody else, we will catch you next weekend. Next weekend, we will be talking about the Aurora, Texas alien landing. If you don't know about that, tune in next weekend. We'll have that information there for you. I'm your boy L. Signing off. This is Weekly Dose of Weird. Thank everybody for tuning in. Peace.